Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got a fun video today to cover PUBG's new 2022 dev plan, which goes over all of their plans, or most of their plans, for the coming months and throughout the year. So what we can look forward to, a lot of new content. We got the new Kiki map, new features on Kiki, Taego update, Miramar update, Sanhok revert, Vikendi update, training mode stuff, shop changes, all kinds of stuff to go over. So let's go ahead and jump in and go over all the details. Now, if you guys have been following the channel, you know that I hate the fact that the PUBG site doesn't have dark mode. So I've been kind of editing my way that I review the patch notes. And now I've gotten really cheeky. So I've enlarged the screen a bit. And then I have a couple of black Microsoft Word documents to cover the white sides. So it's not so bright in our faces. And then I turn down the brightness here. So let's go ahead and get started. And what are we greeted with? The very front page is a Kiki map teaser with one of the brand new features that's called an ascender. So we'll go more details on that in a second, but looks pretty cool. Okay, so first up, they're just saying, hey, welcome everybody, thank you for the 5 years. If you don't know, PUBG did hit a 5-year anniversary this week, and I have a video actually came out this morning that goes over all the details for the 5th anniversary, the new skins, the events, the Discord event to get the limited time clothing skins and contraband coupons, all that kind of stuff. So go check that video out if you haven't done so already. I have my referral code and all that linked there. Then they give us a little a dev map, a road plan, a roadmap dev plan for what to expect over the next few months. So let's go over the quick highlights and then we'll drill down the details. Right now we're through Q1 2022, so it's January, February, March. So the first quarter, the next quarter I should say, is Q2. That's going to be April, May, June. Now the first thing is bad news. Kiki has been delayed to Q3 of this year. So we expected it to be in May of this year. It has now been pushed to July, August, September. Somewhere in that 3-month span is when we can expect Kiki. Okay, so Sanhok Rollback is happening in Q2, and that should be actually coming next month in April. We expect to get Sanhok put back into the map rotation. Some more details on that. They're going to be making a small update to Paramo, some quality of life and terrain changes. They're going to be adding a brand new 7.62 assault rifle, which is really, really exciting. New training mode improvements, more details on that. Weapon balancing, thank goodness. Quality of life improvements, just with like UI and bug fixes. Then a smoke grenade cosmetic. More details to follow on that. I think it's a really cool new feature coming, or potentially. Then Q3, again, that's going to be July, August, September. That is Kiki, another weapon balancing change. Weapon mastery overhaul. Customization improvements and battle points income balancing, where you get more BP for missions and just playing the game overall. And hopefully that means we can actually have some cool stuff to use the BP for. And then last quarter of 2022, Vikendi Reborn. So another update to Vikendi, a Kiki update. So they're going to be making some changes already to Kiki. Arcade mode overhaul, your shop improvements, new social features, and shop gifting, which if that's what we think it is, that's going to be huge. That's where you can gift skins and items to your friends and other players, which is a long time requested feature. So let's drill down the details. Here we go. Number 1, April through June is the Sanhok Rollback. So if you've been paying any sort of attention to PUBG news or anything, the in-game event that you have right now with the spray emote is Rollback Sanhok, hashtag Rollback Sanhok. At first I thought they were just going to be doing like a version 3 of Sanhok, but they actually are rolling back, like they're completely going back to the original Sanhok, which obviously has pros and cons. For those of you new players to PUBG, this is really cool because you're kind of getting like a brand new map almost, because you've never experienced OG Sanhok, and OG Sanhok is really cool. Boot camp is one of the most notorious drop points in PUBG. I'd say probably next to Pachinki. It's like the second like most well-known, fun, hot drop place. So look forward to that. That's going to be really cool. But one thing I was kind of sad to see is that they're just reverting the whole map. They're not going to be taking a lot of the features and improvements of the new Sanhok and incorporating them, from what I can tell. So it's their oldest small map. Yeah. And here we go. It says, due to its age, it's seen a number of features added and a major revamp. Okay, so yes, that's good. Some players like the revamp version, but most want the original Sanhok back. And I don't know if that's true. I think they just wanted some adjustments to the new Sanhok, but okay. So we've given lots of thought to the long-standing requests and made the decision to just completely revert the map. Now, keep in mind, they already updated Sanhok like 2 additional times over the years. The reverted version is in its last stage of stabilization and will be revealed in the near future. That should be in April when we see that. But here's the kicker. With the rollback, many of the features added will be removed, but we are deliberating on how we'll move forward with Sanhok's original form. So for those that don't know, what that means is, for a lot of people who've been really wanting the old Sanhok to come back, that means we're going to be losing the loot trucks that drive around the map. Those are really cool, I thought. A cool way to get new gear, level 3 gear, those specialty weapons and stuff from the Sanhok 4, all that kind of stuff. The gliders are going to be removed. And then, like, as far as terrain playability, that means we're going to get the old Mount Kresnik back. The rivers are being reverted, which were terrible to cross over. So, like, a lot of the play area is going to be like like, it's going to be fun, nostalgic at first, but I have a fear that we're going to be like seeing a lot of the old stuff that people complained about. Like, the whole reason why PUBG updated Sanhok in the first place was because people complained about a lot of the drop points and stuff. One specifically is this location here. So this is Mount Kresnik, and Andy, who's a PUBG community manager, he also streams on Twitch for console. Really cool guy, and he tweeted out this. Looking forward to seeing when the most... which location are you looking forward to seeing the most when the OG Sanhok makes its return? And his is the tall cliffs on the northwestern mountain. I think it's Mount Kresnik is what they actually call it. Or is that Vikendi, Mount Kresnik? I don't know. I forget. But anyway, for those who remember the OG Sanhok, this old mountain was a sweet and sour spot, because if the circle, a lot of times it ended in this direction. If the circle closed up here and your team was up here and the team below is down there, like, you pretty much win automatically, because there's only like 2 ways to get up the hill, unless you wanted to Billy Goat up the rocks, which takes forever and is like a death sentence in its own. And so you just, like, you won the game by default. Or if the circle pushed off the hill last minute, then you lost by default, because there was no safe way to get down without going all the way around, or come down the super, like, obnoxiously open downhill slope. Or a lot of times people just literally jumped to their death, and like, that was it. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of those issues come back up, and I'm hoping that they are keeping that in mind and are making feature updates from the new Sanhok and adding them into here. But from what it sounds like, it's a no, because one of my comments was that I can only hope we've added redeployable parachutes for those mountain endings. So up here, if they have a bunch of those redeployable parachutes, that kind of fixes, quote unquote, fixes that issue, because then you have an opportunity to, jump off and parachute off to safety if the circle does make a hard shift out of that. And that would also make a cool way just to get off the mountain. It'd have some cool content ideas with that. And you could probably get pretty far if you jump from the top, pull the chute, and then started floating a bit. So Andy says, love this idea. I'll let the team know. So, fingers crossed that they actually do make that change. Okay, so that's it for Sanhok. The next thing is the new weapon, the 7.62 assault rifle, which for all intents and purposes appears to be a Gallil. More info on that in a sec. It says this can be used in full auto firing, and its goal is to be an in-between 7.62 weapon between the AKM, which is a low damage, easier to control gun. It's not low damage. but I think they mean in essence of the 7.62 guns, it's lower than the barrel and the DP28. The barrel is high damage but difficult to control. So this is going to have a middle of the road DPS, damage per second, between the barrel and the AKM. Now, why that is a concern to me, and let me show you, shout out to Player IGN for tweeting this out. I think he got this information from another person, but this is basically what the Gallil will look like. Or this is like a render of a different game of it, but this is essentially what the gun will look like in the game, which is really cool. I mean, having a new 7.62 AR, I think is really, really cool. My concern is that the way they're touting the weapon is that it's going to be an in-between of the AKM and the barrel. And if you remember, Pubg added the K2 assault rifle on Taego, which was an in-between weapon of the M4 and like the Scar. And so it kind of was like this little middle ground that nobody ended up using, because it was like, okay, it wasn't as easy to shoot as like the G36 or the Scar because it can't have all the attachments, but it wasn't as good as the M4 once the M4 is kitted out, you know. So I have a concern that this could fall prey to that same issue where, yeah, if you pick it up like off the ground naked, it's probably going to be better than the barrel. But as soon as you get a couple of attachments on it, the barrel is going to be the one that everyone sticks with and goes with anyway. So, you know, I don't know, because typically the 7.62 ARs have a slower bullet velocity than the 5.56. So like the whole comparison of the M4 and the barrel is that M4 does less damage, is a little bit easier to control, but the bullets go farther and faster. The 7.62 is, you know, does more damage, harder to control, but the bullets don't go as far as fast. So there was like that middle ground, and adding this weapon, I just hope that it doesn't fall prey to that that same thing the K2 did. So there's my piece on that, but still fun to always see new weapons added to the game. All right, next up is training mode improvements. If you haven't already seen it, I went through a whole in-depth video on the new sound lab and aim lab that Pubg added to the training mode with the moving targets and all that kind of stuff. In addition, they're going to be making this really cheeky 1v1 mode inside of the training grounds, and in addition to some other things. So number one, they're going to have it where players can fight 1v1 inside of this little mode. So I'm assuming it's going to be like something you have to click to enter in so that nobody can, you know, kind of sit on top and shoot you sort of thing. Or maybe they can watch you, not shoot you. I don't know how that's going to be, if it's like a gulag or whatever. You see these little icons here. It looks like that's probably where you walk up and like both of y'all have to click on the button to engage or interact with it. But that is kind of referencing like Call of Duty's Gulag, where it's a 1v1. Maybe this eventually leads to a revamp of the Comeback BR. I don't know. But it'd still be cool to 1v1 people. And you can do that. I think it's open to the like public matches. So not public matches, but I mean public training mode. So you and a random person could both 1v1, or they're adding custom match training mode that allows players to train with friends. So instead of having to join, wait on a queue, and play with, you know, whatever 20 other random people who shoot at you and throw Molotovs at you and drive into you, you and your buddies can queue up, go training, go custom training mode, and just warm up together and potentially go 1v1 together without outside sources affecting that, which I think is a really, really cool idea. The only thing about custom games is you can't start a custom game unless you have at least 2 people. And I think that's only for PUBG partners. For non-PUBG partners, you might have to have like 3 or 4 people in your custom lobby to actually start the match. So that might hinder this from its full potential. But yeah, and they're also going to add fast travel to the training grounds, which is really, really a good quality of life, because you can pull up the map and just click on where you want to go and boom, you're there, as opposed to having to go run to the parachute thing, then go run to the 1v1, then go run to the aim lab. So fast travel would be cool. Very, very good. All right, moving on. Paramo World Sub Update. So Paramo is going to be getting, this is its first update, I mean, since the map came out like 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't made really any changes to this map, which is kind of awkward. That's like the PUBG way sometimes. They put a new map out and then just kind of leave it for a while. And so in this little update, they're going to be changing some of the terrain to Paramo, making it where those like really OP hilltops don't have eyesight on everything. So they're going to be balancing that a bit, but no other really details for this update. They also said they're going to be doing some sub updates for Miramar and Taego as well. Keep in mind, they already did Miramar 3.0 like 6 months ago, which is a really good update, I think, where they added the different weather settings and really revamped a lot of the just the map's feel, the graphics, the quality of life, the FPS. They just had the big loot buff on it, all that kind of stuff. So this is all well and good, but it's just interesting to see maybe what they're going to do to change it. Taego specifically, I think, hasn't had any updates since it also released last year, and it's a really great map. I love Taego. It's kind of weird that they're not really sticking with the updates. The only thing they did to Taego that I can remember is they like lowered the timer to the comeback arena, which is a joke, and that's really it. They kind of left it alone. So hopefully we get some more details on that soon for Q2. Okay, moving on to quality of life improvements. Now this they're not giving details again, but interesting what they say here. PUBG has inconvenient elements by nature as a realistic battle royale rule, such as being unable to use healing and boost items in a vehicle's driver's seat, or having to guess the perfect timing of a cooked grenade. Technically, don't have to guess. It's like 5 seconds always whenever you cook a frag grenade. But I guess each grenade has its different priming things. Like flashbangs are different. Therefore, we want to find places we can reduce inconvenience without affecting core gameplay through systems such as UI by providing the infos players had to learn from experience. What I read by this is, as an example, on the cooked grenade, you cook a grenade and there's going to be an on-screen timer of how long until that grenade blows up, so that you know exactly when you have to let it go, for maximum effectiveness. I think those kind of things are obviously geared towards new players, which is a lot of the things that they've been doing lately has been geared towards, hey, let's get new players in the game and help them learn their way to PUBG. I'm all for that, but I can already know a lot of people are going to be a little salty about removing some of the skill gap that the game has built into it. I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess I don't have an opinion as such on that yet. It's one of those things I need to see how it plays in the game. Overall, I would say top-down approach, I'm for adding things that make it easier for players to get in and get used to the game and enjoy the game, because that typically leads to overall better health of the game. All right, next is Q3. So now we're out of Q2, we're into Q3, July through September, and now we're supposed to be seeing Kiki. Kiki is going to be an 8x8 map. If you don't know, I have a lot of videos on Kiki about everything we know about Kiki up to date, like all the leaks and the areas of the map and the features and all that kind of stuff. In this particular update, they're actually showing us a lot of in-game footage of Kiki, and I think it looks cool. I think this map is going to be the most diverse map that they've added in terms of the types of terrain we're going to experience in the map. And they have here, it's a near future city that's been ravaged by weathered elements like storms, floods, all that kind of stuff. And it contributed to the downfall of a thriving city. So it's going to have like city vibes, and then like overlands and plains and rocky highlands and swamps. So a lot of diverse environments to fight in Kiki, which is really, really cool. Here is an image of one of the cities. This might be the only city. I actually don't know if there's multiple, but this is the image of, I guess, the main city in the game. And here you can kind of tell this is where like there was a flood wall that broke, or like one of the big arenas that broke, and there's either water pouring in or water pouring out. But I think the vibe of this looks really cool. You can kind of imagine like you and your squad rolling through with cars, or your BRDM on the bridge, and teams would be in some of these buildings or in the rooftops of some of these buildings. And that's what I think I'm looking forward to the most, is how they implement Haven's unique city features into Kiki, and it seems like they're doing just that. Kiki is the most vertically built map ever into the battlegrounds, and it's filled with interesting sniper nest style points of interest, rooftops loaded with emergency parachutes, and buildings easily scaled with the new ascenders. So the ascenders are, again, what we saw in the very beginning. These guys here. So if you ever seen like Call of Duty or whatever, there'll be just grapple ropes that you just you zip line yourself all the way up there. I predicted this in my original Kiki leak video, but I also thought that they were going to have ways to travel from rooftop to rooftop with zip lines. That's not been confirmed, but that will be really cheeky if they did add that. More details in the city. That isn't to say the entire city can be explored. Taking lessons from Haven, not every building is fully playable, with single floors or sometimes just single chambers open for gameplay and highlighted so that players on the ground can easily learn where snipers are coming from. Now, if you pay close attention here, check this out. You see right here, this little kind of orange or red symbol here. There's one here. I don't think I see any over here, but I'm sure they're there. Those are going to indicate where the grapple line is, so that you as an enemy or a friendly player can have a really good idea of which rooftops are accessible. What they're saying here too about like the where you're going to learn where snipers are from, that means you don't have to worry about walking through the city and like every one of these windows will be peekable. But like you see like here how it's like broken out. So there might be like a couple of spots where a sniper can peek from. Here looks like there might be one here. And if you've ever played Haven, you know exactly what we're talking about, where some buildings have like the first 3 or 4 floors you can't shoot out of, but like the top 2 you can, and you get on the rooftop. None of the windows are where you can look out from. So there's different points of interest to hold inside the city. So I think that'll provide some pretty unique gameplay experiences there. It'd be really cool if there's destruction, but I don't think that'll be coming. Out in nature, the swamplands are completely unique to Kiki, with ankle deep water, which is really important, and dense cover to allow for compelling cat and mouse gameplay without having to swim everywhere. They're also looking to add an airboat to better navigate across both land and sea. For those hoping for more traditional PUBG gameplay, Kiki will also have plenty of fielded areas for those iconic battles that players enjoyed in AR Gallil and Miramar. Key things here: ankle deep water, which means you can still run. You can still run at a good pace. It's not like the water city on AR Gallil where you're like, oh, it's so sluggish, you know, where you just like you die if you're inside of that. But they're also going to add an airboat. Now, for those that don't know what an airboat is, because someone actually in the YouTube comment said, I'm looking up air boot, and I don't know what it is. Is it like a clothing item that helps them fly or something? I was like, no, airboat. This is an airboat here. So you're going to be hella exposed. Like, I mean, it's just like you and your squad are going to be chilling, getting lit up on this airboat. But these things are extremely fast and maneuverable and can go on land and water with zero hesitation. Think of it like a hovercraft. That's what it's a big ass fan back here, and it can go really fast over land and water. So that'll be a unique vehicle. The concern is the cover. If it is literally just chairs, that's no good, because you're gonna get lit up. Hopefully it's something more like this, where you have like maybe the driver's kind of protected and the passengers can have a little cover. Because if it's like a super exposed like these airboats here, you're going to be in trouble. And speaking of airboats, the reason why I think this map is like South Louisiana, where I'm from, is again because they have swamps in there. There's airboats in it. It just all kinds of points to that potential. This is like a South Louisiana swamp map, which would be really, really cool, I think. The ascenders, again, those are the vertical ascend and dissensions. Then they say, after releasing Kiki, we will continue to add content exclusive to the map, such as new vehicles and weapons. That's hinting at the Q4 Kiki update. I'm assuming they plan to add some additional stuff the next couple of months, which is really good, because like I just said with Taego came out and then boom, it was kind of like, you know, crickets for a while. So pumping out content on new maps, I think, is a really good thing. Okay, you're still with me? Next up is the Weapon Mastery Overhaul. Now, I have a full video that I went over all of the Weapon Mastery Overhaul stuff. I'll link that up above or in the description below if you want the full beans on all that. The synopsis is they're increasing the Weapon Mastery max level to allow players further progression. Players can show off their achievements with each weapon through weapon nameplates and additional rewards such as like other charms. And once you reach a mastery level, you can prestige to the next level, those kind of things. And in addition to that, they're going to be doing a different stat page for the Weapon Master to show like key stats with each weapon so you can compare it to your friends and all that kind of stuff. Then we have Q4. So now we're into in-game for those Marvel fans, October through December of this year. First thing on the map is Vikendi Reborn. This is like a common theme with PUBG. They're just like, they keep going back to these maps that they make changes to, and they're making more changes, which it can be a good and a bad thing. Being one of the more visually unique battlegrounds, I agree, it's one of my favorite maps. Vikendi still has room for improvement, for implementation of new features and areas for more core gameplay moments. Therefore, we're planning a grand remake toward the end of the year. So this isn't just like a little boop Miramar 2.0 update. This is a Vikendi like 3.0 update, which for those that don't remember, when Vikendi first came out, it was hella snowy. Like snow actually fell. There was snow everywhere on the ground. You could actually track people's snow in the footsteps. It was really cool and unique. The problem was it tanked FPS. Then they reduced and removed a lot of the snow, got rid of snowmobiles and got rid of snow bikes. And then now they're going to do another grand remake. And remember how they had night mode Vikendi? They had the infrared scope on Vikendi. They have a lot of potential with this map to really make it a staple in the PUBG map rotation. And I hope they nail it with this one, because I've always enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people they don't hold Vikendi in the highest regard. I guess we'll say that. So we'll see what they're going to be doing there. Okay, then we have arcade mode overhaul. So they haven't added anything since team deathmatch in the arcade mode for the past like 2.5 years, even though it says like coming soon. So
a breath of fresh air on the internet, man.
DJ, thanks for the follow, buddy. They haven't added any new modes. They said developing content simultaneously while running labs in test modes have taken their attention away from arcade, which is what I just said a couple weeks ago. I was like, I bet them doing all the labs mode is what they were doing for arcade mode. So in the second half of the year, they're going to overhaul arcade mode and add more game types and a new reward system for players who enjoy playing the arcade mode. As stated above, this is not an all-inclusive list, but they have a variety of different types of content in the works that I'm just not ready to talk about yet. So what you can take from this arcade mode overhaul is think of your favorite PUBG labs modes, those potentially coming as arcade modes. So like the zombie mode, which was super well received, the fantasy royale mode, the what did they call the mode where it was like basic like CS:GO for PUBG, where you could like, there was a buying phase in the beginning, and it was like teams who kept fighting and they dwindled down as the teams got knocked out and eliminated from the final challenge. That mode was really, really cheeky and cool. Just not a lot of people played it because it was a labs, like limited time mode. Stuff like that could be making its way as a permanent entry into the arcade section, which I think would be fantastic. Now, one thing they didn't touch on in this actual newsletter was the smoke grenade cosmetic. And what they've said on that in the past, I actually just tweeted out my thoughts on this. So if we go to profile, I thought that the smoke grenade changes that they said there were going to be here. Care package smoke. The colorblind mode setting will no longer apply to the red smoke from care packages due to a new feature being added in a later update. I thought what this was going to hint at or be was us having the ability to throw a new type of smoke weapon that signaled a artillery strike. That's what I thought was going to happen. Now, what I actually think that smoke change is going to be for is a new type of care package coming with Kiki, which is going to be, you know, Q3 or whatever. And Blitz5 made a funny point. He said, could be players coming back via care packages. I doubt we'll see that on PC and console, but you never know. New State has something similar. So in the little teaser video at the very end, they showed off a new point of interest on Kiki, and this package right here, this care package, is a new type of care package that probably has a different color smoke than what the other two have. So this will have red smoke because it's your normal care package. This one has yellow smoke because it's the flare care package. This is a brand new type of care package, which likely will have a different color smoke and potentially could be a revive feature. I don't think it's going to be that, but we shall see. Then other things they didn't touch on is these new social features. No information on that to really tell you what that's going to be about. Your shop improvements, that's the customized PUBG store that has discounted items for you. Improvements maybe meaning adding new items or changing the algorithm so that it more directly shows you items that you would want, would be cool. Then shop gifting wasn't detailed here. And again, shop gifting could be insane. That could be a way that you can gift or sell items directly to your fellow friends in PUBG instead of having to put them on the Steam store and then a random person can buy them. And then again, not all items are even sellable. So that'd be really cool if you could gift items to people in PUBG or sell them directly to them in PUBG. So hopefully more info on that. All right, so that's everything on the dev plan roadmap for 2022, but a few things I wanted to keep in mind for you guys. The timeline that they show here obviously isn't guaranteed. Sometimes things are pushed back, sometimes things are brought forward, but more likely than not, there are many items in here that are not shown or detailed. So like last year, the 2021 dev plan only had a small Taego teaser and a small Kiki teaser. They didn't show us stuff about the comeback BR. They didn't show us like the Panzer, the mortar, the tactical gear, like all that kind of stuff that we eventually got over the months wasn't even in the dev plan. So if you are finding yourself a little sad about reading the dev plan that it doesn't have anything crazy cool, just keep that in mind. There might be a lot of things they're working on that they're not ready to tell us about yet, but they plan on releasing during 2022. So just keep that in mind. And in terms of core gameplay changes, I've been impressed with PUBG's direction personally, like taking tactical gear into account. And I bring that up because Fortnite recently removed building from the game. And that is a core gameplay feature to Fortnite. Building in Fortnite is like really what kind of made that game, And the fact that they were ballsy enough to remove it for over a week just to see how players would react to it was really, really cool and refreshing. And I actually played Fortnite a couple times with no building, and it's been good fun, man. That game has a lot to offer, and it just got me thinking, like, man, PUBG has taken a few steps in that direction. They added, tactical gear, they added the gliders, they added the comeback BR and Taego. Obviously they've been beating around the bush about like the elephant in the room, and I feel like I have to address it in this video if we're talking about a dev plan. I strongly feel that PUBG has to legitimately try a revive system, not a respawn system, because there's a difference. A revive system. They added, if you remember, they added the critical response kit to Paramo, which allowed you to heal or res your teammate in 3 seconds instead of 10 seconds. So they had an opportunity to do it there and they didn't. Then they added Taego with a comeback BR, like a full-fledged respawn system that flopped. It was not what people wanted to see. It was poorly implemented and it was never revamped. Still room for improvement, but it never was revamped. Then they added the self AED in Taego, which that means if you got knocked and you're a solo or you're on a squad and you have a self AED item, you can revive yourself. Like they went as far as adding a self revive before they tried like a team revive system. Then they added the EMT gear with the tactical gear, which allows you, to heal yourself in 3 seconds with a first aid or med kit, or heal a teammate in 3 seconds, or res a teammate in 3 seconds. So like all these things around potentially saving your teammates from getting knocked and flushed, except trying the actual revive mechanic. And I just really hope PUBG takes that leap of faith and tries a proper revive system. I know a lot of you don't agree. You think PUBG is too realistic for that. I hear you. I get you. But if Fortnite can remove building from the game and get overwhelmingly positive success from it, You go look at all the Twitter polls and stuff, people are loving it. PUBG needs to try the revive system. Have it be the self AED item. Have it where everybody starts with one, like a utility belt. Have it where it only will work up to phase 3, and you get one revive per person per game. So if I have the self AED item on me, it's not going to be called self AED, just call it an AED item, and you're my teammate and you get knocked and you get flushed, I can do a 20-second animation one time, boom, and I pick you back up within phase 3, and that item is gone. I can't do it anymore, but boom, you're back in the fight. Because having that capability, I think, is going to greatly improve PUBG's presence on as far as player base. You know, getting a lot of new players to come and try it out, because if they want to make the game easier, that's one of the ways to make the game easier and put a lot more eyes on it. So there's my piece on self revives. They mentioned a couple times in this dev letter map exclusive features, weapons, and vehicles. I have never been a fan of that personally, although I do kind of sound a little contradicting, because I say that I love Haven because it's a very unique map in PUBG. It's like an all night city mode. There's AI in the faction compounds. They have the kill truck, the helicopter. Those kind of unique features I appreciate. But at the same time, I would prefer if each PUBG map had the same features, weapons, and vehicles. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think overall, I'd prefer if everything was available all the time, to let the player decide how they wanted to approach the game. I mentioned this earlier. Taego has been untouched since mid-2021. It's a great map. It's their newest 8x8 map, and I feel like it has a lot of potential. I just hope that they can really capitalize on that this year when they talk about doing their Taego sub improvement, which is not scheduled anywhere in here, but they talked about it in the Q2 update. So we'll see. Then lastly, complete map reverts. You know, I've been kind of struggling with my opinion on this and where I stand. You know, PUBG has Sanhok 1.0. They did Sanhok 2.0, and now instead of further improving on the map, they're just literally deleting their all their work and improvements and going back to 1.0 and removing features that were added, removing quality of life changes that were added. So I'm a little concerned on their decision process to do that. Vikendi, they had the first one, and they had Vikendi 2.0, which they removed a lot of the fun snow features of the snow map. Now they're going to remake Vikendi again. And I have to voice, I guess, that I'm just a bit concerned. I mean, I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm excited about seeing what they can do, but man, it just seems like they go back and forth a lot on a lot of these updates. And I really hope that they can find their footing and really make some quality permanent improvements to these maps. Because obviously with there being so many maps in PUBG, it's the map rotation's always in question. People are upset when they don't get big maps and they get a lot of small maps. Some people prefer to have all the small maps. So having every map be fun to play on would be ideal. Obviously, I know that's not going to happen, but you know, maybe that could be solved with a mini royale, battle royale playlist. I don't know. So I guess that's it for my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with a buddy. If you want to support me, make sure you use creator code CDome in the PUBG store at the very bottom. It helps give me a percentage of anything you buy in the PUBG store. If you've already bought things in PUBG and don't have a creator code added, if you add my creator code now, it'll retroactively give me a percentage of all your purchases from season 16. So feel free to do that, of course, if you want to support me or your favorite PUBG partner. If you are doing the PUBG referral code program where you get those extra incentives, the skins, the contraband coupons, etc., my referral code would be in the description or in the pinned comment of this video. And of course, don't forget to check out my ultimate PUBG guides playlist, where I go over all the critical need to know things about PUBG and tips and tricks that you probably just didn't know about if you're new to the game. So that playlist will be linked top of your screen, or also my top 5 videos that I recommend are in the description below. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video or on the next live stream at twitch.tv/C_dome. Take care. See you soon. Peace.